Yo, happy Halloween everyone, it's your boy Zave, and today I'm going to be reading 3 true disturbing stories to y'all. Now before anything, I'll be reading the entire stories to y'all, and I will credit where I got these stories from. Also, make sure to like and subscribe, and turn that little notification bell on. Also, make sure to go subscribe over to More Zave. I do gaming, and just any other type of video that's not the top 5 in documentaries will be over there. And lastly, make sure to go check out my Twitch channel. I stream Pokemon, Fortnite, anything you can think of, I pretty much stream it, so go check it out. Anyways guys, let's get right into the readings. The Trick or Treat Murderer. Now I'm going to be reading the story from the Vice website. I'll put the link down below in the description. On a rainy Halloween night in 1974, the children of Deer Park, Texas were out knocking on doors. Ronald Clark O'Brien, an optician, was out too, watching over his kid, 8-year-old Timothy and 5-year-old Elizabeth, as they trick-or-treated in a suburban neighborhood near their home. Joining them as O'Brien's neighbor, Jim Bates and his young son. One of the houses the group approached had all of its lights switched off, but the kids banged on the door anyway. The vague promises of candy was too enticing, but there was no answer. Either the occupants were hiding or no one was home. Growing impatient, the kids ran off to find another house, and Jim followed. Ronald was left alone. Catching up with the others, a short while later, Ronald had some good news. He produced a handful of 21-inch pixie sticks, tubes of powdered sour candy. Turned out someone had been at it in the dark house all along. The sweets were handed out, one to each of the children there, one for Jim's other child, and another to a 10-year-old boy Ronald had recognized from church as the group walked home. Eat one treat from the evening's haul, and picked his pixie stick too. But the powdered sugar was stuck in the straw, and it wasn't until his dad helped him dislodge it that he could take his first mouthful. It tasted bitter, so he complained, so Ronald grabbed him a glass of Kool-Aid to wash the taste away. Less than an hour later, Timothy was dead. It was just a coincidence that I was working with the police intake that night, says former Harris County prosecutor Mike Hinton decades later on the phone from Houston. I got a call from the Pasadena Police Department. They told me an 8-year-old boy had died. He was rushed to the hospital, but he had already passed. Wanting to get his investigation underway, Hinton called Dr. Joseph A. Josenvik, chief medical examiner of nearby Harris County. I told him the situation, and he asked what the young man's breath smelled like, says Hinton now. A call to the morgue revealed that there was a scent of almonds coming from the boy's mouth. It's cyanide. An autopsy proved the medical examiner's hunch. A pathologist said Timothy had consumed enough cyanide to kill 2 people. Tests later found that the top 2 inches of the pixie stick had been packed with poison. Police officers managed to recover the remaining sweets from the other boys' children before any of them had a chance to dig in, and noted that whoever was responsible had used staples to seal the pixie sticks after tampering with them. That's what saved another boy's life that night, Hinton recalls. They found him in bed with sweet in his hands, but he wasn't strong enough to undo the staples. The police took Ronald back to the neighborhood the group had been trick-or-treating in so he can direct them to the house where he picked up the pixie sticks. But he was stumped. He just couldn't find the house, and he said he'd never seen the face of the person responsible that had just emerged from the doorway and handed him the candy. Investigators started to become suspicious. A few days went by and it was incredibly frustrating, says Hinton, so they took O'Brien out again and was pretty firm with him. The tactic worked. Ronald's memory was jogged. He pointed towards the house. The man who lived there wasn't home, so officers went to his place of work, Houston's William Hobby P. Airport, and arrested him in front of his colleagues. The mystery was over. Case closed. Only the man had an alibi. It turned out he was working that night, says Hinton in his long Texan drawl. His wife and daughter were home and had turned out the lights early as they ran out of candy. Colleagues and timesheets confirmed the man's story. This only magnified my suspicions, says Hinton. I'd also heard O'Brien was angry at his relatives for not staying up the night of Timothy's funeral, which was odd. Ronald, it transpires, had written a song about Jesus and Timothy joining the Lord in heaven, and had grown agitated when his grieving family wouldn't stay up late to watch a recording of the performance being broadcasted on live television. Something strange was going on, says Hinton. Soon after, while he was teaching a class at the Pasadena Police Academy, detectives arrived at Hinton's door. They had discovered that Ronald had recently taken out life insurance policies on both of his children, $10,000 per child in January of that year, and then a further $20,000 on each month before Halloween. Investigators already knew Ronald owed debts of over $100,000, so when they found out he'd call his insurers to ask about the payout at 9 a.m. the morning after Timothy's death, it was clear the case against him was beginning to come together. Granted a warrant, a search of O'Brien's house offered up a pair of scissors with plastic residue attached, which was similar to what was found on the cyanide-laced sweets. O'Brien was arrested and taken in for further questioning. As the investigation continued, says Hinton, the evidence started to stack up against Ronald. It turned out O'Brien was going to community college and in class would ask his professor questions like, what is more lethal, cyanide or any type of poison? Says Hinton. Why would somebody ask that? Another witness who worked for a chemical company in Houston told police a man had come in to buy some cyanide, but left after being told the smallest amount he could buy was 5 pounds. The man from the store said he couldn't identify O'Brien, but he remembered that his customer was wearing a beige or blue smock like a doctor, says Hinton. O'Brien was an optician. That was exactly the uniform he wore to work. I knew someone was standing over me. This story comes from Reddit, uploaded by the user TidyWhiteys37. I will also have this in the description below. I lived in an old apartment in 2002. The place was built in 1900, so it was just over 100 years old when I moved in. The living room and kitchen were fine, but the bathroom and bedroom were unnerving, like I just always felt like I was being watched, especially in the bedroom if the closet door was open. Those unnerving feelings just became moderately uncomfortable as I settled in. I felt safe in the bedroom, but only if the door was locked. One night I was dead asleep when there was a loud bang on my bedroom door. When I got up to get the courage to get out of bed, I checked the apartment. All the windows were closed and locked from the inside. The door still had the chain secured. Nobody was in there. I mentioned the closet in the bedroom. I never liked going in there, and I never liked if the door was open. For some reason in my head, I would hear gasping noises, so for that reason, that closet stayed closed. A month or more after I was woken up to the bang on my door, I was dead asleep, but something woke me up, and it was a pressure on me like I was being held down. It was pitch black in my room. I couldn't see anything, but I knew something was standing over me. When I could finally turn on a bedside lamp, no one was there. And after then, I couldn't sleep in the dark. I had to sleep with the lamp on. That incident scared the life out of me. And after the unnerving feeling of being watched intensified, friends would come over and comment about being uncomfortable in the bathroom like they were being watched. It became so uncomfortable for me. When I had the chance to move to another unit, I jumped at it. I packed up everything and got out. After me, several people rented the apartment, and they would move out within months. I became friendly with the building manager, and I told him that I felt like there was something haunted. He kind of laughed it off. Years after renovating the place, building manager was doing some painting in there. The building owner was there too. I went and checked out the apartment, and it looked nicer. It didn't feel as creepy. I got to talking to the building owner, and through the course of the conversation, he throws it out there that there was a former tenant that committed suicide in the closet by hanging themselves. He also mentioned that the original designer of the building lived in that apartment and even died in there. I wasn't mad when I heard that, but felt validated that what I experienced was real. The unrest stopped. This story was uploaded to Reddit and the website Travel Channel, link in the description. I was driving across country with my mom and sister when I was 16 and my sister was 20. It was late, but we were well rested still and alert. We were driving along an interstate and we needed gas and a bathroom break. So we stopped at the only rest stop in 200 miles. There was a van full of teenagers on the road at the gas station, as well as a very small gray parked car at the pump in front of us with 2 young men standing still outside of it. When we got there, everything just felt wrong. We'd been on the road for days and seen many rest stops at night, but had never been afraid until then. My mom and sister went inside and I stayed in the car. I heard the teenagers say that they were creeped out and couldn't get the pump to work, and they left in a hurry. I was watching the car in front of us, and the 2 men had not moved at all. Not an inch. They were talking. They weren't on the phones, though. They were just standing there, still as stone. My sister and mom came running back out to the car when they got in. The 2 men slowly turned to look at us while not moving or pivoting the rest of their bodies. And I swear to fucking shit, we all saw the same thing. They had eyes, dark as pitch and empty, truly empty, not black, not reflecting any light at all, just a void. We sped out of there and didn't stop until we were in the next city. The worst thing about the entire experience, we couldn't find any place on the map. We knew exactly which spot on the interstate to look, and we couldn't find it on Google Maps or any paper map we had. We even asked the locals about the creepy gas station on the stretch of the road and got only confused looks. We traveled on the interstate since, and there has not been a rest stop. That is going to wrap it up for today. That is 3 true disturbing stories. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to slap a like and comment on the video. And honestly, make sure to have a very happy Halloween, everybody. Anyways, guys, it has been your boy, Zave out, and peace.